This Black Myth Wukong series covers how to do all quests and missable content in order so that all rewards and achievements can be obtained. For best results, follow this series from the start of part 1. There will be spoilers in the form of important information, and as usual, useful timestamps can be found in the video description. We left off at the start of chapter 4, which takes place in the Webbed Hollow. Also, a huge blanket warning for those with arachnophobia that this entire chapter is absolutely filled with spiders and plenty of other creepy crawlers. From our starting point, the first shrine is just a short distance away. Feel free to explore this area on your own, as there are some chests with useful crafting materials to be found. The first boss of chapter 4 is just beyond the double doors near the estate of the Zoo Shrine. You can pause until after defeating it to avoid spoilers. After defeating the second sister, we can find an Awaken Wineworm to our right and a little behind us. We can then go down the main path into the gold chest near the back of this area to get our 4th Celestial Jade Lotus Pill. To progress, we will then need to jump into the nearby chasm. We can get some medicine out of the nearby case and then run a short distance to reach the next shrine. We can craft the chitin staff at this point, and that's what I will be doing because it works well with my build. Before continuing, we can return to where we fought the second sister. We should now find an elite lantern holder in her place, and we can obtain its spirit. Also, if we make a quick trip to the Zodiac Village, we will find that Zoo Dog now has the Essence Decoction formula for sale. Shen Monkey will also have another Awaken Wineworm and Luojia Fragrant Vine for sale, and that should allow us to upgrade our coconut wine again. With that, let's begin exploring the Webbed Hollow. Starting at the Upper Hollow Shrine, we'll go down the nearby path to find the Qo Jin-Yin Belt Hook Curios. Running back up towards the shrine, we will next go up the stairs to the left of it. Towards the top of this path, we'll find a small turtle chest containing the Goji Shoot Soak. We can then continue along this path to an area with a chest and multiple egg sacs. It doesn't have to be here, but try to destroy any egg sacs that you see in the Webbed Hollow, as they have a chance to drop the Rice Cocoon key item, which we will need 3 of. They also have a chance to drop the Spine in the Sac Curios, and I'll be covering all Chapter 4 random chance drops at the end of this video. I was fortunate enough to find all 3 rice cocoons pretty quickly, but don't spend too much time farming for these cocoons in this area, as there are tons of egg sacs throughout the majority of Chapter 4. In any case, we will eventually want to drop back down towards where the Upper Hollow Shrine is and then go down the path that is to the right of the shrine. We can then run along this path, keeping the main cave wall to our right. Towards the end of it, we should see a somewhat narrow path that leads to a small chamber where an elite beetle captain is waiting. We can defeat the Beetle Captain, absorb its spirit, and loot the nearby chest, then do some backtracking towards the start of this path. Right near the start of this path, we should find a drop-down area that is indicated by a small brazier. We can make a series of small drops and then run through a section filled with hanging cocoons, and some of those are actually a new type of lesser Yao Guai with their own journal entry. In any case, we can follow along this path to reach our next shrine. I also want to give a warning here that the most easily missed item in the game is just after the next shrine, so I recommend watching ahead. Just before reaching the shrine, we'll find our first meditation spot of Chapter 4, which is for the Carvings Pool of Shattered Jade. The next shrine is then just a few steps away, and I recommend watching ahead. The most easily missed item in the game is just past the Pool of Shattered Jade, through the tunnel filled with hanging cocoons. In order to get a unique piece of armor, the Venomous Armguards, we need to defeat the upcoming boss in a specific way, so I recommend backing up your save if you can, and watching ahead. The boss fight will start once we damage down the odd cocoon a significant portion. Once we've done that, the Venom Taoist will be released. In order to get the Venomous Armguard, we will need to break off 4 of the Taoist's spider arms. We can accomplish this by hitting him in the back. Also, we will know that we're doing it right because the Taoist will be stunned when we are hitting him in the back. My advice is that if the Taoist is around 20% health or less and you still haven't broken off at least 3 arms, or better yet 4, then just quit out to the main menu. You can then load back in, rest at the shrine, and try again. Once 4 arms have been broken off, we can then defeat the Venom Taoist and we should get the Venomous Armguards after a short cutscene. I have tested this on 2 characters and got the Armguards both times. With that covered, let's make our way to the next shrine. Starting at the Pool of Shattered Jade Shrine, we will move past the first meditation spot and along the wooden scaffolding. We can then make a series of safe drops to reach the next shrine. From the Verdure Bridge Shrine, we can cross the bridge and go to the left. A cutscene will play out when we approach the Talking Lanterns. Following that, we can enter the chamber full of chests for multiple rewards, including the Xiang River Goddess Gourd, Enhanced Ginseng Pellet Formula, and Purple Veined Peach Pit Soak. Just beyond this room, we will find the Elder Armourworm boss, which we can defeat to get the Proto Armourworm key item. If we return to Zodiac Village, we can deliver the Proto Armourworm to Long Chen. We can then rest at the shrine and find the little worm sitting to the right of the garden. In order to complete this mini quest, we will need to feed the Proto Armourworm rice cocoons, and a total of 3 rice cocoons are required. Once we fed the Proto-Armourworm 3 rice cocoons, we can then go rest at the shrine and return to the previous spot to get the Elder Armourworm spirit. With that covered, let's go back to the Verdure Bridge Shrine. This time, we will make our way down the path to the right after crossing the bridge. We should see a lone tree in the distance, and that's where we are headed. There is an elite Scorpion Prince roaming near the tree, and this is a somewhat dangerous and difficult encounter. That said, we will get the Deathstinger soak from defeating the Scorpion Prince, and can obtain its spirit too. Before leaving here, we can grab another Luojia fragrant vine hanging off the tree. Up the stairs and to our right is a small chest containing the Mirage pill formula. If we continue along this path, we will find our first purple sigil. Approaching it will trigger a cutscene with the 4th sister NPC, and after that, we can interact with the purple sigil to remove it. In the nearby house, blocked by a cluster of breakable egg sacs, there is a new drink type that we can get, the Worryfree Brew. We can then continue along this path, passing another cluster of egg sacs to reach the second meditation spot of Chapter 4, which is for the tree, middle of the hollow. The next shrine is then just a few steps away. This shrine actually leads to the next mandatory boss fight, but there is another path to reach that boss, and an easily missed spirit to get along the way. For that, let's head back to the Verdure Bridge Shrine. We'll then take the same initial path as we did before. However, this time around we will move down the path to the right after going down the short drop. We should see a cluster of hanging cocoons to our left as we move along this path. Beyond them, we will find a spacious chamber where an elite puppet spider will drop down. Once we defeat it, along with all the other enemies in this chamber, we can absorb the puppet spider spirit and then return to the main path. Following it will eventually lead us to the next shrine. The next mandatory boss fight is a short distance beyond the Bone Vault Shrine. Once we've defeated the Centipede Guai, we can absorb its spirit and go down the only path available to us. We will eventually reach an unusually large egg sac, which we will need to destroy. You can pause until after you've done that to avoid spoilers. Following a short cutscene, we should speak through all of Ma Tianba's dialogue, then continue along this path to reach the next shrine. Just before the shrine is the second purple sigil, which we will need to remove. There's also a chest that we can loot nearby before making our way over to the shrine. The only path forward from the Cliff of Oblivion Shrine will take us to the next major boss. After defeating the Buddha's right-hand boss, we will want to go equip the Cloud Step spell at the shrine and make sure that we can use it. We can then move from the shrine across the Buddha's bridge and up to the left to get our 4th Celestial Taiyi pill. Dropping down to the area below and going down the path that follows, we will arrive at a fork. We'll go to the left there and across a long rope bridge. Up ahead is a precarious bridge that we need to cross, and it's guarded by hanging cocoon enemies. Trying to defeat them will likely have us fall into a chasm, so instead we can use the Cloud Step spell to get by unnoticed. Upon entering this new area, we will find a Luojia fragrant vine to pick up. We can then move up to the left, going along the ridge to reach the next shrine. If we haven't already, we should make a quick trip back to Zodiac Village and upgrade our Medicine Master Gourd. We should also spend any mine cores that we have on permanent upgrades. That's because we are about to fight what is considered to be one of the most difficult bosses in the game, and they are up to the right from the relief of the fallen Long Shrine. I will be giving my strategy for defeating this boss, but you can pause until after defeating it yourself if you don't want any spoilers. For everyone else, the Yellow Long is definitely a tough boss, but I think I found a strategy that works pretty well. This strategy greatly benefits from the Spellbinder build that I use. What we are going to do is just keep our distance from the boss, moving tangentially to it while charging up our heavy slam attack. Once the slam is fully charged, we can approach the Yellow Long and let loose. A lot of the time, the Yellow Long will also do a dash attack towards us. It may just be because of the added sprint speed that I have from the Pilgrim set, but I've found that I can very reliably evade this attack just with the running pattern that I mentioned earlier. This also allows me to charge up that heavy slam attack and hit the Yellow Long with it pretty easily. Aside from that, the one phase that we have to look out for with this boss is when he charges up and crackles with lightning. This will be followed by a series of extremely fast and high damage swoop and pounce attacks. The only hope of getting through this phase is to learn the timing and dodge for your life. That phase will eventually end, and the Yellow Long will go back to his normal set of attacks. After defeating the Yellow Long, we can pick up his spear to unlock the Golden Lining transformation spell. We will also get several useful materials and the Golden Orb Curios. Before leaving this location, we will want to go up the path to the left of the shrine, which will take us into an upper section of the hollow. Going along the right path of this area, we will reach a dead end with an elite puppet tick, which we can defeat to obtain his spirit. We can then backtrack a short distance and move down the path to our right to reach a golden chest, which contains some nice materials. There is also the third purple sigil in this area, which we will need to remove. We can then drop down to the area below, which is right before that long rope bridge that we crossed. This time, we will go down the other path to trigger the next major cutscene. After that, we can make our way towards the next shrine. Be careful about going into the pit of this next chamber. While there is a chest that contains a mind core, this pit also contains tons of enemies and it's very easy to get overrun. A jump attack can help you get out in certain areas. In any case, the next shrine is then just a short distance ahead. From the lower hollow shrine, we are actually going to backtrack a short distance and go through a crack in the wall on our left. This will lead to the third meditation point, which is for the cave depths lower hollow. After that, we can turn around and leave through the tunnel to the right. This will take us to a secluded chamber to fight Baw-Li-Guhh-Baw, a poison frog boss that also drops the left hand of Buddha material when defeated. Leaving out the far side of this chamber, it's then just a short run to reach the next shrine. The next major boss fight is to the right of the Hut of Immortality Shrine, and I don't have a whole lot to say about it. After we defeat Zubaji for the first time, we can go down the path to the left of the shrine to reach a new area. If you want to pause to avoid boss spoilers, you can, but I only have a couple of things to say about this fight. First, I find it to be the second most annoying fight overall. Dodges will be slow and very ineffective unless you manage to pull off a perfect dodge. That said, run speed does not seem to be impacted at all. The only other thing I will mention is that when Baji goes into his mud form, he is impossible to defeat. Even if you take away all of his health, you will have to wait it out until he exits the mud and hit him one final time to win the fight. After defeating Zubaji, we will get the Jade Moon Rabbit Curios and can then go discover the next shrine nearby. There are only a couple of things to do as we move forward from the Purifying Spring Shrine. To start, we will want to move left through the spring. We should see the Mandrill Chief again and can go grab the Skanda of choice from the stone head that she was standing near. Making our way up the stairs to the next chamber, we will find an elite dragonfly Guai to our right, near a wooden ledge. After grabbing its spirit, we can keep moving to reach the final shrine of the Hollow. You can pause until you defeat the boss in the next chamber if you want to avoid spoilers. For everyone else, I found the Violet Spider boss to be more annoying than anything else. The hitbox is pretty inconsistent, resulting in many missed heavy slam attacks. Also, I was about to defeat this boss on my first try, but then her one very lethal attack completely destroyed me. Here is a better view at what that attack looks like and how to avoid it somewhat more successfully. In any case, once we defeat the Violet Spider and following a cutscene that will give an arachnophobic a heart attack, we just need to run along the only path forward until we eventually reach the next area. There, we will immediately get another Luojia fragrant vine, right before discovering the next shrine. We should be able to craft the Spider Celestial Staff at this point, and that's what I did. This new area, the Temple of Yellow Flowers, is fairly large, with several tasks to complete. Starting at the Mountain Trail Shrine, we will move a short distance up the path, then find a small turtle chest to our left. It contains the Bee Mountain Stone Soak. We can then continue up the nearby path, eventually reaching the next shrine. The fourth meditation spot, which is for the height, Forest of Ferocity, is just a short distance forward and to the left of the shrine with the same name. We can then run along the mountain ridge and the path that follows until reaching the Commander Beetle boss fight. Once the Commander Beetle is defeated, we can obtain his spirit. There is also a Curios, the tablet of the Three Supremes, in the small green chest nearby. The next shrine is then just a short distance ahead. Moving from the temple entrance shrine, we will first want to go into the structure on our right. This courtyard is full of worm practitioners and also contains the 5th meditation spot of Chapter 4, which is for the Pine Temple of Yellow Flowers. There is also an elite snake sheriff, which we can defeat to get its spirit. Finally, if we go up the nearby stairs, we can find an Awaken Windworm as well as the NPC Yuan, who we should speak to before leaving. Once we've done that, we can head back out of this dead-end temple and start going up the other path, with our sole objective being to reach the next shrine. As a quick warning, the final boss of Chapter 4 is directly to the right of the next shrine, and we still want to do some important things before we go fight it. First, we will go up the path that is past the Court of Illumination Shrine. There, we will find the 4th and final purple sigil. A special event will be triggered when we rip it off, so we should go loot the chest behind the sigil first, which will contain our 4th celestial nonary pill. Now, if you are unable to approach the sigil, you may have missed one of the 3 that we previously covered. In any case, once we've torn off that sigil and had a brief fight with the Supreme Inspector boss, we can return to the Court of Illumination Shrine. We will then run away from the shrine and move up the other path that was just before the Court of Illumination. At the top of several sets of stairs, we should see an open clearing and house in the distance. Before we do anything else, let's go get the legendary Sunset of the Nine Skies drink sitting on the table. We can then harvest a specific cluster of mushrooms to start the Fungi Woman boss fight. Defeating the Fungi Woman will get us a seed that unlocks both fungus variants back at Zodiac Village. We can also get the Fungi Woman spirit. Next, we will backtrack a short distance, then go down the slope path to the right. The Venom Taoist will be waiting for us, and this time we will need to completely defeat him. Before interacting with the wall painting, we can exit this cavern out to an arbor area. To the right, there is a gold chest containing a soul remigration pill. Returning to the cave, we can interact with the wall painting to reach the secret area of Chapter 4, Purple Cloud Mountain. There are a couple of missable rewards in this area if we fail to do things in the correct order. To avoid that happening, we just need to wait to fight the final boss of this area until we've taken care of everything else. The final boss is up the long staircase from the Cloud Nest Peak Shrine. Before reaching our first shrine here, we will meet a new NPC, Hong Yi. After speaking through her dialogue, we can run across the bridge to reach the shrine. To start, let's go forward from the Valley of Bloom Shrine. We should quickly run into an elite snake herbalist, which we can defeat to get its spirit. Climbing up the rocks to our left, we can then cross over a wooden roof and run to the end of this path to get the Gold Sun Crow. Dropping back down, we should see the Petalfall Hamlet Shrine a short distance away. The side quest that is very easy to mess up is within Petalfall Hamlet. Running in from the shrine, we should quickly come upon an NPC, Taoist Me, playing a flute, and we need to speak through all of his dialogue to start his quest. On top of the stone structure that is to the right of Taoist Me is an Awaken Wineworm. After grabbing that, we can make our way through the village to open several chests and perhaps get the quest item that we need for Taoist Me, which is called the Violet Hail. It has a random chance to drop from the staff-wielding monk enemies. Also, if we go through the right side of this village, we should be able to find the life-saving pill formula in a small square chest. Just make sure not to run up the long staircase from the Cloud Nest Peak Shrine, as that will lead to the final boss of the area and cause us to miss out on some important rewards. If we still don't have the Violet Hail key item after discovering the Cloud Nest Peak Shrine, we can just go defeat the nearby yellow-robed monk to try and get it. If it does not drop, we can rest back at the shrine and just repeat this process until we get the Violet Hail. Once we do have it, we can return to the Taoist Me and give him the Violet Hail, and you can pause until after doing that to avoid spoilers. After the events that follow, we will unlock the Violet Hail transformation spell. With that, we can return to the Valley of Bloom Shrine and jump off to the right side of the bridge. The Elite Verdant Glow is a short distance away, and we can defeat it to unlock its spirit. There is also the final Luojia Fragrant Vine of this chapter in the same location. Moving up the nearby path and to the right, we will discover another shrine. Before going forward, we can move up the hill to the left of the shrine. There, we will find the final meditation spot of Chapter 4, which is for the Ledge Purple Cloud Mountain. We can then jump off to the left of the nearby bridge to reach a gazebo. The chest inside contains the Celestial Registry Tablet Curios. There is another very tough boss fight ahead, so be sure to equip your most potent healing items, then return to the Bound of Deity's Abode Shrine. In order to get a specific reward from this next boss, we need to defeat it or at least challenge it before taking on the final boss of the area. As we move up the stairs and into a clearing, the Scorpion Lord will begin insulting us. We can grab the Long Aura Amplification Pellet from the gold chest beneath him, then destroy one of the jars to start this fight. I don't have too many tips for how to take on this boss effectively. On my first playthrough, this boss probably took me the longest out of any boss to defeat. The Scorpion Lord is extremely aggressive, deals high amounts of damage, and is fairly tanky. For me, the key to defeating him was to just get very good at reading and avoiding his attack combos. I also made sure to keep my health topped off as much as possible. With that, I will let the rest of the boss fight play out in hopes that it proves helpful. Defeating the Scorpion Lord before taking on the final boss of Purple Cloud Mountain will get us the legendary Deathstinger material, which can be used to craft the Venomous Sting insect armor. We will also get some other materials and the stained Jade Gourd. At this point, we are ready to face the final boss of Purple Cloud Mountain. To reach it, we just need to run up the stairs from the Cloud Nest Peak Shrine, which we've already discovered. I don't have too much to say about this boss, and you can pause until after defeating it to avoid spoilers. After defeating the Dusk Veil, we will be returned to the Temple of Yellow Flowers area. We will be rewarded with the Weaver's Needle Vessel, which can help a lot against the final boss of Chapter 4. We will also get the Dusk Veil's Horn, which is a unique crafting material. Checking our journal, we should only have one Yao Guai King missing at this point, along with 5 Yao Guai Chiefs, and don't worry, we will be getting all of those filled out by defeating the final boss. From the Court of Illumination Shrine, the final boss is right outside one of the nearby exits. Be sure to equip the Weaver's Needle Vessel, and you can pause until reaching the Chapter 4 summary screen if you want to avoid spoilers. For everyone else, this is probably my most disliked fight in the entire game. The boss's hitbox is just super inconsistent. Also, because the Weaver's Needle is so important for the second half of the fight, it forces me to hold off on activating Spellbinder until then, which really compromises my build. To use the Weaver's Needle correctly, we first need to get the 100-Eyed Taoist Master down to around 40% health. At that point, he will summon a golden sphere and then a brief cutscene will play out moments later. Right after that cutscene, we can use the Weaver's Needle to get rid of the golden sphere and debilitating effects that it brings about. We still have to deal with the Taoist Master's more aggressive attack patterns, but at least we can activate Spellbinder at this point if that's what we want to do. Once we've reached the Chapter 4 summary screen, we can activate our Envious Tongue relic, and the Tongue of a Connoisseur passive is extremely good. Checking our journal, we should have all portraits and meditation spots for chapters 1 through 4 at this point. There is still one important item to get in the Webbed Hollow, not to mention several random chance items, so let's cover the start of Chapter 5, at least until we get to the first shrine. All we have to do is defeat a handful of enemies when the chapter starts. We can then open a set of double doors to discover the shrine. If we go back to the Court of Illumination Shrine and head towards the entrance of Purple Cloud Mountain, the place where we fought the Venom Taoist, we can actually get a Curios that was previously missing. If you remember that arbor area outside the cave where we fought the Venom Taoist, there should now be a table and chest near a group of stone statues. The chest will contain the Preservation Orb Curios. With that handled, let's finish the video by covering the random chance drops for Chapter 4. Starting at the Verdure Bridge Shrine, we can move across the small bridge and defeat the Grasshopper Guai that bursts from the large egg sac. This enemy type has a small chance to drop the Locust Antennae Mask. Next up, if we go to the Upper Hollow Shrine, there is a decent number of egg sacs down the nearby path. These have a chance to drop the spine in the sac Curios when destroyed. From the Forest of Ferocity Shrine, we can go a short distance to find and defeat a Fly Whisk Taoist. This enemy type has a chance to drop the Fruit of Dao Soak when defeated. If we go to the temple entrance shrine, there is that courtyard that is loaded with worm practitioners, right near the 5th meditation spot. These worm Guais have a chance of dropping the virtuous bamboo engraving when defeated. This next one has a really low drop chance. From the Court of Illumination Shrine, we can head out the main entrance and find a Snake Sheriff to our left. This enemy type has a very small chance to drop the legendary Tiger Tendon Belt Curios when defeated. I had to defeat it about 35 times before this Curios finally dropped for me. Last but not least, if we move down the main path from the Valley of Bloom Shrine, we will pretty quickly run into a Lush Leaf, the tree type enemy. These have a chance of dropping the Undying Vine Soak when defeated. If you are having any issues or have any questions, you can reach out to me in the comments where I will do my best to help. We will be covering the entirety of Chapter 5 and the Flaming Mountains in Part 5 of this series. You can find that over on my channel, and if you're new, consider subscribing. You're helping me feed my cat. Her name's Marshmallow. Have a great day if you're here today, have a great Thursday, and as always, thanks for watching.